Hello and welcome to the D2C podcast. I'm Eric Dick. Today I got to geek out on AI and the future of the e-commerce experience with Shauli Mizrahi, co-founder and CTO of Rep, which you can find at revolutionize. We discussed the breakneck pace of developing AI systems and how brands that take advantage of these AI gains have a distinct leg up. We'll discuss building machine learning algorithms to help store owners identify and engage browsers before they bolt with dynamic sales tactics that raise sales. Of course, I can never resist futurecasting about AI butlers, so we're going to rabbit hole on those a little bit too. The future of AI and e-commerce is bright. On with the show.
For most websites, most software websites, this is the average, there's a 98% drop-off rate. So that's 98% of the visitors of the website that we can approach. They don't know probably what they're looking for or have problems finding what they're looking for. We can approach them in the right moment, the right time, and bring them onto a conversation and say, hey, I'm here to help. What we see today are brands that come to us and say, hey, my competitor has you, I want to have you too, and I want to speak completely different. I want to present my brand. We say, okay, easy, just define your brand tone of voice and you're getting a total different experience. That's the beauty of it. Every website gets a completely different experience and every customer gets a completely different experience. It's a matter of time until everyone has AI on their websites. If you don't have it, then you're losing to your competitors. That's just it.
Shauli, welcome to the D2C podcast. I'm really looking forward to this one. Generative AI is something I'm using almost every day in my job now in this media space, but I see it being so impactful in the e-commerce game as well. What are your thoughts on what the most powerful uses of AI for e-commerce are right now?
So AI is changing everything, around us. You can see that from any industry is being disrupted by AI. Sadly, taking people's jobs, but that's part of the part of the future, part of what technology is doing. And specifically in e-commerce, we see that in bringing the role of a salesperson that exists in physical stores and brick and mortar, bringing it online, which wasn't available mainly because of technology wasn't there and the scale of it. There's no way that there could have been a person that was able to talk to each and every customer, each and every visitor on the website at the same time, right? That would mean a lot of salespeople. And what AI brings us, the ability it brings us, is the ability to talk to each and every one of the customers and try to get them to buy products, try to help them, and that's the major disruption. So we see the shift going from static websites, we see the catalog, and you go through thousands of SKUs, to moving to a more conversational world where customers can walk in and say, hey, I feel like this, I want this, and there's going to be a conversation. So the AI is asking them questions back to really try to understand what they're looking for to fit the right product for them. So that's where we see it going forward.
It's got to be a bit scary for people. We're just about to put out a piece about Google. And Google's kind of opening Pandora's search box is what it's called, because they have a search business that's based entirely on showing 1,000 things, like you're saying, 1,000 SKUs, and basically then letting people navigate and feed them with the right information to maybe they'll find the right one eventually. But we're going to a world where it's much more sort of bespoke, where it's like you come in with your data, your first party data, maybe how you behave on the website, and then you're not going to get 1,000 listings. You're going to get after a conversation, you're going to get the right thing. So I'm seeing a world where we're going to end up maybe getting less impressions on things, but we'll get more meaningful engagement and more custom engagement. Is that how you see it?
Yeah, more precise. You walk into a physical store and you see tens of thousands of products, and someone comes to you and say, hey, how can I help? Let me ask you a few questions. I'll find the right product for you. And that's where we'll go. You don't need to browse through thousands of products anymore. Someone can just direct you and show you, this is our bestseller, this is what you need. Don't look at anything else. I'm just going to get you this item. And that's where we see it going.
Very cool. I think AI is just incredibly disruptive, and your point about it costing jobs, it's sort of like that's always the way technology has been in a way, right? Like you go back to the spinning jenny, removed a lot of jobs, but what it did was usher in a more an era of maybe higher quality capitalism, or just increased productivity kind of for everyone. And I see there's definitely an upside to what AI provides as well, obviously.
No, 100%, 100%. In the end, technology. First of all, technology can create more jobs, so more quality jobs, more things that are not repetitive, things that are not things that require more development and thinking and engineering. So that's going to come up more. And yeah, fortunately, repetitive jobs are kind of obsolete, and that's where it's going. But yeah, what it creates is higher throughput, higher, better capitalism, better for everyone. So that's the way I see it, at least.
Can we walk through Rep a little bit and just talk to me a little bit about how it works versus like we've had chat widgets on our site for a long, lots of people have had chat widgets, the ability to contact and ask questions, about specific things. What's the fundamental difference that Rep brings when you use it on your website?
All right. So first of all, regular chats, their whole idea is to, first of all, they want less of that. So brands want less of those conversations. It means that if they have those conversations, first of all, those conversations used to cost them money because it's representatives, and it means that the customer is in trouble. So they do want to do everything to not get to a conversation. We take the extreme opposite approach. We say, okay, this is AI. Doesn't cost more money if the AI speaks to 5 customers or thousands of customers, right? Let's try to talk to anyone we can, especially the customers who have problems, and let's do it. Let's increase conversion rate and make sure more customers are happy by approaching them. So what we developed is what we call a rescue algorithm. That what it does is it's an AI-based model that basically understands what customers are doing on the website. So scans monitors their behavior on the website. So where they go, what pages they view, what they click on, how they scroll through the pages, and understands the emotional context. So what problems they're facing, what they're looking for, even before saying a single word. So when we identify that they're about to drop off from the website, so when they become disengaged, in high probability, what we do is approach them in a proactive way and try to, sorry for the sirens.
That's all right.
So we proactively approach them with the context of where they are in the sales funnel and what they're experiencing. So let's say they reviewed a few products from a certain collection. We'd approach them saying, hey, need any help with finding a coat, let's say looking for coats, and try to navigate the conversation to really helping them out to find out what's the best coat for them. But let's say they're in the homepage and it's more general. We don't know much about them because they haven't done much, but showing that disengagement, let's say signs. So we approach them with a more broad, more general conversation, saying, hi, I'm here to help. Let me know what can I do for you, find the right item, or just ask any question that you might have. And the idea is to bring them on a conversation. And then from that point on, the conversation is powered by ChatGPT. It's powered by OpenAI. And the whole idea is to get them the right item for them, or try to answer any product-related questions that they might have, or try to help them with customer support issues, whatever they need. That's why we call it an AI concierge, because the idea is that it helps customers with whatever they need to make sure they're happy, make sure they buy, and make sure they buy more and come back, of course.
The word that keeps coming up for me in my head is like a concierge in a way, right? Like you have like a traditional chats of a bit like a help desk in that you're going to use it when you need help, when you have a very specific question. But that's a very small segment of your audience, probably, the people that actually maybe have very specific questions. So this idea of a concierge that greets more people and is more proactive in a way, right? Engaging them in a proactive way about how they can have their, here's how you could have your best time in New York is what your hotel concierge might be saying to you as well. And it just creates a whole other world for high quality engagement that you couldn't do before.
Exactly. It's like, imagine that for most websites, most software websites, this is the average, benchmark average, there's a 98% drop-off rate, so 2% conversion rate. So that's 98% of the visitors of the website that we can approach. They don't know probably what they're looking for, or have problems finding what they're looking for. We can approach them in the right moment, the right time, and bring them onto a conversation and say, hey, I'm here to help. Let me know what you need, or let me ask you a few questions to figure out what you need, and let me show you the right product. So it really depends on what they came in for, what they're looking for. Even if they saw an ad on Facebook and we're brought into the website, and now we're trying to capture that and say, hey, you saw this nice ad. Now let me take over. Let me show you the right product. Let me answer any product-related questions if you have any doubts. And again, the whole idea is to help out, just assist, just be there. And of course, the output for the merchant is happier customers that buy more and higher revenue.
How do you? It's funny. It makes me think of the stories from the early 2010s, or maybe even before then, about Zappos and Tony Hsieh and his sort of whole concept about customer service kind of going above and beyond. I remember the famous one was, you called Zappos to be like, how do I order a pizza around here or something? And their customer service rep would actually help in that regard. I'm curious, with ChatGPT, you can go anywhere. You can go off the rails. You can call up Dan or the Do Anything model or whatever. How do you keep, do you like when it comes to your rep widget, do you put hard boundaries on what your concierge can engage in, or can you make it more free flowing?
It really depends on what you configure, but we try to give it the boundaries of an agent that works for agent or a sales representative that works for the brand, with the ability to obviously go a little bit out and think out of the box, not just be confined to the words that are being said on the website, but to give more general knowledge. But again, it probably won't help you find the pizza place that is best for you. But it will be really knowledgeable about things that are about the website, about the brand, and also have a broader scope on how to tailor things and how to make sure that you get what you want. So yeah, a bit of both, I would say.
Can you give me any specific examples? You don't have to say the brand necessarily, but the kinds of brands that have seen the greatest success and how they're using Rep to drive the most engagement?
Yeah, so I think the best examples that we have are either brands that have very large catalog. So really large catalog, you go kind of lost in the catalog, or brands that have complex products. So products that you probably have tons of questions when you come in. You don't know. And you might have all the information on the product page. Sometimes it happens. There's tons of information on the product page, but it's just too much information. There's no way that a customer can go in and get all their information, all the things they need from the product page, because it's just long. It's just a lot of information out there. So by having generative AI, by having ChatGPT as a helper here, what we're able to do is just answer any question that's just there. So if you want to know what this product does, or if it answers a specific requirement that you have, let's say like that, it's able to answer that. Why? Because it knows everything about the product. And so that helps with really complex products. Regarding websites that have a large catalogs, the ability to have what we call a conversational search, that you're able to say, I'm looking for something, or I'm looking for a black dress that's under $50 and it's made out of cotton, okay? And what it'll do is basically scan the entire catalog, find the right items, could be thousands of SKUs that match that criteria, and bring it back and ask you a follow-up question to try to narrow down the results. So we'll say, okay, what kind of event are you going for? Like what kind of event are you going to that you need this dress? And you might answer, okay, I'm going to a gala, and that's what I need it for. And then it will ask you another follow-up question, try to narrow down the results until you get to 5 or 10 results. That what we'll do, we'll show you the results in a product carousel and get you to add them to your cart. So the whole idea is that either we narrow down results in a really fast conversational way, just like a human would do. A salesperson in a physical store would ask you some questions and then say, I've got the right thing for you. Wait a second, I'll go bring it back. Or answer any really tough part of your questions.
I'm curious. So you mentioned like 98%, so 2% benchmark on, an average store, and it's probably like 98% of people don't engage. They you'd never know anything about them. What sort of percentages are you seeing? Like, do you have rep, talking to everyone? Do you have them talking to people that just show exit intent? How broad are people going with these engagements, and what percentage do you get up to in terms of customers engaged?
Yeah, so we try to approach, so the 98% pool, right? And we try to approach as many as we can, but we only approach customers that we have in high certainty they are about to drop off. So it sort of averages out to 30% of the visitors on the website we actually approach. So around one to three. And from them, around, I would say 1 to 10 to 1 to 20, it really depends on the website, talk back. So we actually get to speak to a large portion of the customers on the website that would have dropped off. So we catch them in the right moment, the right time. So we try to figure out who is going to drop off and when are they going to drop off. And then 10 to 15 seconds before it happens, so we predict that. So before it happens, we approach them and then try to have an engaging conversation with them. And a lot of them are being pulled out and talking to us, talking to the AI, and a lot of them end up buying. So it's pretty successful.
How do you? One of the things I'm always interested in is treating repeat buyers differently. I think of the restaurant that sets out different colored napkins and utensils and provides different layers of value depending on how many times you return. How does Rep work with that? Are you able to identify? Again, you think of Minority Report of hey, you bought this sweater. Speaking directly to each customer that comes in about their previous purchase history and things like that. How does Rep.ai work when it comes to like returning customers?
So returning customers can be treated completely different. So the welcome message would be completely different. Some merchants actually use what the customer bought last time to say, hey, do you have any questions regarding what you bought last month? Why? Because they have complex products. Sometimes they need instructions on how to use those products. So that's one example of how it doesn't end with just purchasing. For some merchants, it's really important to make sure that the customers are happy afterwards by instructing them how to use certain products. Another way is trying to find complementary items to what they bought, last time, a month ago. So bring them in, welcoming them back, and offering them complementary items, saying, hey, last time you bought this shirt, we have matching pants for those. So let's help you find them. And then bringing them onto a conversation. So it really depends on what is configured, but the sky's the limit. So the contextuality of everything that's happening and the conversation that's super personalized, hyper personalized to each and every customer, that's pretty amazing. That's what we're able to bring out.
How does it work with data? I guess this is all zero party or first party data that you own. Once they're on your site, they're generating all this data. So you're able to, like, in terms of privacy concerns and things like that, you're able to keep that data indefinitely. How does that? Are there any privacy concerns with this technology?
So with every technology, there's privacy concerns. So what we do is we work with first party cookies. So all the information is stored and saved separately. There's no matching, no merging between different accounts. And if unfortunately a merchant leaves us, then the entire conversation history, everything we collected up to that point, will be completely deleted. So privacy concerns we take really seriously, and we make sure that no data is leaking between different accounts or anything like that.
We've been. It's so interesting living in this like AI world. Every day we're getting new developments. I was just Googling this morning and saw that finally, like, Google Assistant is like Google Assistant. Like these things that live in our homes, like Google Home or Alexa, they're surprisingly useless. They're like, it's amazing how bad, like, asking any kind of multi-dimensional question or question with context. I'm always surprised at how much they fail. I'm really interested, like, when all of our devices get as smart as Rep can be or as ChatGPT can be. I'm really excited for what that future looks like. What are some of your thoughts about the way AI is going to evolve the e-commerce experience?
So I believe that at some point, and hopefully very soon, once Amazon, keeps up and gets to the same level with OpenAI and some other companies that are really making it with the LLM world, the generative AI world. But once they do, once we have personal assistants that actually can speak in a generative sense and not be what Alexa is known for us today. So what I imagine is a world where we have everything, set up for us, and we have an assistant that helps us to do anything we want, that is always with us, and we'll always be talking to that assistant, and that assistant will be doing tasks for us, helping us out with whatever we need, and the world will be just much, much easier, faster. Everything will be instant. The way ChatGPT works today, you don't have to search within 10 different websites to get your answer. You just go to ChatGPT, ask a question, you get the answer straight away, and it's already summarized for you, so you don't have to read large blogs to understand where to take the information from. So that's where I definitely see that, and what I see even in the future is some sort of a mini me or version inside Assistant. So basically, we'll be able to copy ourselves or copy our entire information, entire knowledge of ourselves, and have it in an assistant that is able to basically imitate us and have conversations with other people if needed, and just replace us and let us do other things. So, for example, if I have an assistant that will be posting for me in social media, I wouldn't have to post anymore in social media because I'll have someone that imitates me, knows me, and is able to do that for me. So that's where I see that going. So a mini-me version, I don't know if mini-me is the right way to say it, but basically, yeah, exactly. But a replica of myself in form of AI that is able to do some of the hard labor for me in front of other people, in front of other AIs. So maybe AIs talking to each other, that's where it will go, and that's the future.
That's my exit plan, I think, on this podcast. It's eventually I need a mini me who can field pod, so I can go on permanent vacation and just knows all the questions I would have asked already on podcasts, and I'll have my own mini me. I like the sound of that, and I love this idea. I talk about actually on this podcast quite a bit. This idea of where we're going with all this. My big theory, and I've mentioned on the podcast a few times now, is that I think all of the generative AI that we're using is going to so advance so rapidly to the point where people become sort of like maybe lost a little bit in like what's real, what's authentic. And that's when Web3 will be ready. When Web3 will finally be ready, where we can actually, when everything will go on the blockchain and we'll have less middlemen in the world, and we'll sort of live in this, in this crypto blockchain world where everything will be recorded in an immutable ledger, and then sort of everything's then out in the open. I think our society is kind of plagued a lot by information only being available to a small number of people in a lot of cases. And I think we're going to a place where information is going to be a lot more available to a lot more people. But the problem will be then like trying to make sense of the data to the point where you will need a mini-me. You'll need someone who lives in that data world who helps you make sense helps you get signal from all of the noise out there. And I see that being really important when we'll all have our own AI butlers that can talk to each other and constantly be doing things in the background. So maybe we get to a point where there's so much data that you actually monetize your own data. You realize the value of your own data as an individual. You keep your data wallet, and then you have your AI butler who's responsible for, making sure that data gets used responsibly for your best interests. What do you think of that?
No, I think it makes total sense. First of all, to understand the authenticity of each, of data that you're getting. That's something that we don't have today, right? So you see stuff on social media, someone posting, something, and you have no idea if it's real or not, fake news or not. And the idea that you have your AI butler summarizing the right information, bringing in the authenticated information, let's say, and you can use that, and the other way around. So taking your information and making sure it's of course it's authentic, it's your information, but it has a stamp of approval, and that's where the Web3 is going to come into play. I think that's showing this is real, this is not fake, and doing it in a distributed way, in a mass scale way. I think that's where we'll go.
I think, and back to e-commerce a little bit, we talk all the time on this podcast about like ways you can kind of go outside the box and really delight and engage your customers. And I just see AI being, really opening up unlimited opportunities to really like delight people. And we say, you always say do things that don't scale. And I think that ties a lot to like how you can provide these amazing experiences for customers. But the cool thing about AI is you can delight, and you can do it at scale. how I'm curious from your perspective as someone developing this tool, where do you see as the next big opportunities for Rep and for other areas that you want to either improve or evolve the service over the coming years?
So, that what you said was exactly right. So the idea to delight customers, the idea you can delight customers and really give them a super personalized conversation that feels 100% human, and that's what the amazing thing about it. So it's no longer pre-scripted text that you can see, oh, this is the same text that everyone's getting. No, it's literally repeating what you just asked, giving you a super focused answer, getting you to the next, asking you a follow-up question, so getting the conversation going. So that's something that we're now experiencing. That's something that we're doing. Where we see it going forward, and this is what we're planning on, is to actually, first of all, be everywhere. So the idea that no matter where you are as a customer, that you will get the brand will know you and continue in a continuous conversation. You'll be following along different platforms and everywhere basically. So you could be on social media and have a conversation with the brand, with the AI of the brand, and then continue to the website itself and continue the conversation right there. And it will know everything you said because everything will be super connected and super contextual. So that's where we see it going. And right now we're just on the website, but our plan is to go to social platforms and more places, just be everywhere and represent the brand everywhere we can. So that's something we're working on. And the next thing we're working on, this is probably going to be the beginning of next year, is to become multilingual. At the moment, we're focused only in English. And the idea is that next year will be fully multilingual. It doesn't matter which language you're talking, which language your user is talking, what language the brand is talking. It will know how to just basically answer with the language you're using as a user. So you might just, this is something that doesn't exist today with customer support. There's no way that you can come in speaking Spanish to an English-speaking agent who will be able to respond. And now this is possible. So you're able to switch languages along the conversation, and we'll just basically be able to answer it with that language. So this is what we're working on at the moment. So coming soon.
Very cool. One of the use cases that I see, and it's funny, we're actually experimenting right now with Chatbase on this, where we've uploaded like all of our newsletter content, and we're working on figuring out how to upload all of our transcripts from YouTube, from all of our podcasts, and basically kind of creating either a mini me or just a mini database of all of the things that get discussed on the D2C podcast. So you could say, oh, I want to learn about product market fit. And it'll say, here's the 5 clips where we talk about product market fit. Here's the big articles that we wrote about this. And here's the summary sort of thing. And I know I was chatting with Feastables, and I feel like they're working on a way, especially for celebrity-led brands. I feel like this being an extremely powerful situation where you can give everyone who comes to the website a little bit of, we called it the Jimmy pie or the Mr. Beast pie. Like give everyone a little bit of that experience of talking potentially to that celebrity-led brand. Is that an area you see developing as well?
So first of all, one of our features is the ability to define the tone of voice of the AI. So you're able to give it examples or give it instructions. I want you to speak. I want you to be funny, hilarious, down to earth, whatever you define it. Everything that AI will say will be with those instructions. So you're able to even give it, if it's a celebrity-led brand, you're able to say, I want to speak like X, okay? And the entire conversation will be as if you were talking to that person. And that's where it really comes. And this is something that is unimaginable to be done by human agents. There's no way you can do that. There's no way you can replicate that experience. And we're able to do that today with AI. So I don't know, pick your own celebrity and just let it talk like that. That's it.
Morgan Freeman, let's go. I think he would just sell.
Exactly. It's funny. That's the example that everyone gives in our company. Like if they want to explain that to customers, to merchants, they say, we want to speak like Morgan Freeman. There you go. Just say, speak like Morgan Freeman. And that's it. And it does that. It's pretty amazing.
That is super cool. How I didn't we should have covered this at the beginning maybe, but like I'm curious about like you jumping like the people that I know who have kind of gone into AI. It was sort of like a decision that was made early on when they experienced a little bit of what was happening with AI, and then they went full on into whatever they're building. Can you just talk a little bit about how you got started with Rep, and have you been working on machine learning stuff for a long time, or is this fairly new?
Yeah, so I've always been drawn to machine learning. I've been doing that for now over 10 years, just in machine learning, in general in tech for over 20 years. But I was always drawn to AI and especially conversational AI. So we founded the company 4 years ago, and we created our own AI, our own conversational AI. It was proprietary technology, and it was always good. It was always great. But when ChatGPT came out, that just made everything look different, right? And we basically understood straight away. Okay, we're going to take ChatGPT, we're going to take OpenAI's algorithm model, and we're just going to use that as the core basis of our platform. And once we did that, it just basically made our already good existing platform. It just made it run on steroids, and just boom, and everything just got way better. The conversations got way better. It's like we just basically injected a storage shot to it, and yeah, now basically the sky's the limit of what it can do. It's been amazing.
What's been the biggest challenge? Like, so I've never done any developing on it. I think we were using some chat based stuff where we were zapping some things together. But when it comes to actually developing on the Chat GPT AI, what have there been any really big challenges?
So yeah, the big challenge is to first of all to understand its capabilities and what you can do with it. It's pretty amazing, an amazing thing that just happened to us as a species. Like that, they have this gift, and it can do anything you want. So it can, in the back end, you can ask it questions and say, "Hey, I need your help here. Let me figure out what should I say to the customer, and this is everything that the customer has said. This is what we know, and just let me know what's the next course of action that I should take." And those are the options we can do. And then it just gives you the right information and just instructs you on how to perform. And what we do in the back end is connect with all those different things. So connect to catalog and connect review platforms that we have, connect everything we have with the brand, and bring it on and summarize it for ChatGPT so it can produce the right answer to bring back to the client. So connecting everything and making sure everything speaks to each other, that was the biggest challenge. And then in the end, ChatGPT is the core that brings us the final answer of what to do.
I'm just on your site, HelloRep.ai, and this is something that we're debating right now. We sort of have this. We've created like a character who's going to be the person who speaks through ChatGPT when people ask us questions. We're going to call her Dot. So it's sort of like, and I think we have this idea that it'll be pretty. People might think she's a human, but they'll probably know she's a bot. Do you recommend that people make it clear that they're talking to a bot, or is there a strategy where you want people to think or question as to whether they're talking to a real person or not?
So I think that nowadays there's no shame in saying it's an AI, right? A year ago, merchants would be AI was a bad word, like AI was a curse a year ago. Today it's completely different, of course. And what we see is some merchants actually make an effort to stress this is an AI and write on top of the chat, this is AI assistant, AI concierge. Or in some merchants do the exact opposite. Some merchants give it a name. Instead of the icon, they use fake person's profile image, and they want to make sure that no one understands it's AI. So it really depends, I guess, on where the merchant takes it. I see success in both sides. All right, because I think mainly people, customers, are not afraid to talk to AI anymore. It's not. If I look a year back, we'd see a lot of customers like straight away they see AI. I want to speak to a human straight away. And today, it's not the case anymore. People say, okay, this is an AI. I actually prefer talking to AI. I don't want to speak to a person. I prefer to resolve everything by myself with the AI helping me. So that completely changed in the last year. So I see success in both strategies, and really depends on the brand where they want to take it.
And I can see you also have a use case where you go from AI and you do transfer to a real human in a situation.
Yeah, yeah. So in some cases it happens, but the AI might not know the answer, and that happens usually if the information is not there, or if there's a real problem. So something with the order that's fully damaged, and they're the customers are really getting angry. So in those cases, we always recommend a human agent to step in. So what we do is Rep connects to a lot of help desk platforms, so Gorgeous, Zendesk, Rich Panel, and more. And what we do if the AI doesn't know how to answer, the AI transfers the conversation to a human agent working with those platforms, and the transition is very seamless. So the chat widget just changes colors and shows this. I'll speak to a human. It actually says, "I'm going to transfer you to my human supervisor to continue the conversation," and then the agent takes over and hopefully helps the customer.
We talked about the ability to engage more customers, more of that 98%. The other area that we didn't talk as much about, but I see on your website is such a great use case. It's something as a performance agency at Pilot House, we talk all the time about getting your average order value up. So whether it's order bumps or post-click sales or whatever. And I feel I'm curious about that. If someone engages the website, goes to buy something, is there an opportunity to engage them in that cart, like in the cart, to be like, hey, even though they haven't engaged previously, be like, do you need any accessories for this outfit, or like, what are some of the ways that your product raises that average order value?
Yeah, so we approach customers that even if they added a product to the cart, and even if we see that they might not buy this product, so abandoned cart, or even if they would buy this product, and the merchant really wants to upsell, so they can configure that within our platform. And what we'll do is proactively approach that customer and try to recommend complimentary items. Try to either also get them to check out, or push them to finish the transaction. But the idea is of course, to increase the average order value by showing complimentary items, and that really works a lot. So we can see sometimes between a few merchants 10% AOV uplift. So just by doing that, just by pushing more and trying to get them to increase the basket size.
The other cool thing about all these new technologies is like how easy they are to integrate. I imagine like getting started on Rep is pretty seamless. What does that process look like?
So it takes around 5 minutes, the whole thing.
Yeah.
And we just ask you a few questions. So for example, first of all, you connect your Shopify catalog. So we pull all the information about your products. So we already set ourselves up on the website. So we start monitoring the behavior of customers on the website for the behavioral AI to learn about the customers, what drives them, when they drop off, and really understand that. So we do that. We also, in the background, we also scan the entire website. So all the informational pages, sometimes even blog pages, really depends if you lit it or not. And we take all that information to have it stored and already ready for ChatGPT to answer questions based on that information. So all that is happening in the background. And all you have to do is, as a merchant, is you have to define the tone of voice, tell us what's your support email, and basically ready to go. So it's a fully plug-and-play solution, and it can be live within a few minutes. That's it.
And it plays with your already with other customer service tools as well. It does at this point. It doesn't replace things like Gorgeous necessarily. It's something that plays with it and integrates with it.
Yeah, exactly. So as I mentioned, the scenario of not knowing how to answer, and then continue the conversation with the Gorgeous, the agent using Gorgeous. So with the Gorgeous platform.
Very cool. So we have a lot of listeners, thousands of D2C brands who listen to this podcast. Would you center out as the best use case for Rep, who should go to HelloRep.ai today?
So we work with brands from every sector, and it shows success in every sector because there's always customers that are asking questions, always customers that are unhappy, disengaged, dropping off. So it doesn't really matter what type of brand you are. It'll fit. Of course, an AI assistant is something that anyone needs, right? But we do see more success with, again, as I said, with brands with large catalogs where customers get lost. we could be any type of fashion, CPG, anything that has a large volume of products, and also complex products. So if you're selling products that customers don't necessarily understand the functionality, they don't really understand if it fits them. It could be anything. So those are the scenarios where we show the most success, because we're able to provide information, summarize information, answer questions in a short amount of time, and do it very efficiently.
And every product has multi dimensions of context around it. Like, and the current situation is you can look through one of those toggles. Okay, size, maybe material, maybe color, maybe brand. But every if you have more than one product, there's multi dimensions that you want to go through, and I think that's what I find I use ChatGPT the most for, which is just basically like I could hunt and peck and find individual answers to individual questions on Google, or I can write a long string to ChatGPT and it will go across each of those categories and line up the best combination for me, right? And I feel like that's the real beauty of AI, is to be able to go across, gather context from like a large query and then really drill down on the exact right answer, not just single dimensions.
Yeah, exactly. That's exactly what we do. So you can go to the website and ask, tell the AI a whole story about your entire life's issues, and it will summarize it all. It will answer and address every issue that you said and every question that you had. So again, no need for those one-line questions and hopefully getting the right answer. No, you can just say whatever you want, and the answer will be fully personalized to what you just asked.
I love it. It like reverses that old SEO paradigm on its head right now, because there's this joke with SEO, the current SEO, you have to like read, if you want to get a recipe, you've got to read 1,000 words of the person's backstory. That's all SEO optimized before you actually get to the recipe. And it's like, it kind of flips that on its head, where you can just write whatever you want, your story into it, and then it just distills the absolute correct answer versus the other way. So I'm 100% on board.
Exactly. It's funny. You can write all the information you want at the bottom of the page. Okay, the bottom of the page. It doesn't matter where it's written. Okay, as a merchant, as long as it's there on the page, the AI will know. And you see that with sometimes complex products, and it's just too much information. Text specs. It could be anything, and it doesn't matter where and how it's aligned and where it is. The AI will know it. So the second the customer asks a question, the AI pulls information. We have even like one of our merchants has they have a really weird size guide. So their sizes are really not, they don't match with the rest of the world. And for every product, there's a different size guide, by the way. It's crazy. And what we're able to do is basically feed ChatGPT with a huge table of those are the sizes, those are the products, those are the normal sizes, and those are your sizes, right? As the answer, as the sales. And we just feed that to ChatGPT. And if someone's asking, for the product that they're looking at, I am size 38. What should I get? And it knows to go to that table, find understand which product they're looking at, understand what size they're using with a different brand, and give the right answer. And that's something that you would have to take the person. You used to have to take this person to a different page, a huge size guide, and let them check out for yourself. And now we're just saving time. And by saving time, we're obviously making happier customers that convert more.
Amazing. All right. Well, if you're listening to this and you want to try Rep out, you want to go to HelloRep.ai, and you guys have it. It takes about 5 minutes to integrate, and you've got a 30-day free trial, so people can just really get their feet wet with this, understand what it's going to be like, play with it, and see if it's going to work for them.
Yeah, exactly. And for your listeners, we offer a really amazing promotion. So use the coupon code DTC20 to get a 20% off for the first 6 months. So that's for the DTC listeners.
Significant discount to get your feet wet with AI. It's sort of like an imperative now, I feel like. That brands, at least play around with the different tools that are available and really understand, because it's like things. I think we talk about you're not going to lose your job to AI, but you may, but you're more likely to lose it to someone using AI. And I think that's the same when it comes to businesses. that like you're not gonna you may not, the pressure to figure out how to use these technologies to gain exponential productivity boosts is real, I think, right now, right? Like it was funny, you mentioned a couple of years ago having AI in your brand was sort of like a call for people to be able to go like, oh, okay, yeah, tell me about the AI kind of thing. But that's totally changed now, where now it's like everyone has such a tangible concept of how beneficial AI can be. So that's really flipped.
Yeah, that completely flipped. And what we see today are brands that come to us and say, "Hey, my competitor has you. I want to have you too, and I want to speak completely different. I want to present my brand." We say, "Okay, easy. Just define your brand tone of voice, and you're getting a total different experience." And that's the beauty of it. That there's no every store, every website gets a completely different experience, and every customer gets a completely different experience. But yeah, it's a matter of time until everyone has AI on their websites. If you don't have it, then you're losing to your competitors. That's just it.
Well, let's leave it there. Shauli, thanks for coming on the D2C podcast today. You'll have to come back as your tool evolves and as you continue to develop in the AI space, because I'm going to be super curious to see where it goes.
Thanks, Eric. Thanks a lot for having me.
Thanks so much for listening to today's episode. If you're not a subscriber to our newsletter, you can do that right now at direct-to-consumer, all one word, .co. I'm Eric Dick, and this has been the D2C podcast. We'll see you next time.